Alrighty, welcome to another live stream on Locked In. I really appreciate everybody who's going to be joining this stream. Today, we're going to have a very two exciting guests from Scribe Cycling. They are a newer brand that if you guys have been following me on Instagram and Facebook and the YouTube channel, I have mentioned them before. They are a UK-based company that makes a killer set of wheels, especially for gravel and a lot of other disciplines for riding. And I'm currently reviewing a set of their Wide Plus Plus Gravel 700C wheels that I'm very excited about. In today's stream, we're going to be doing our typical format that we usually do. So we're going to be talking about a little bit of the history of the company, basically their design and ethos of how they started, what they're creating, and what they want to obviously mention to you guys. After that, we're going to have some general conversation about how business is going with obviously coronavirus and everything else going on in the world. It is going to be something that every company, I think, for the next at least year is going to be having to deal with. So I'd like to see how they're dealing with it and what they're doing, as well as obviously we want you guys to be able to connect directly with Scribe Cycling. If you've seen their advertisements on Facebook or Instagram, that is something that maybe you have questions or want to know something about them or about their wheels or anything else. I'm going to be opening this up for a large question and answer section. So please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you like it, so I can do more streams like this with cool companies like Scribe Cycling. And you guys will have a direct connection with these companies to ask them basically anything you want. So let's get started and introduce you guys. Introduce yourselves to the stream here.
Yeah, cool. So my name is Alan Graham. I'm the founder of Scribe Cycling. Thank you for having us, by the way, Michael. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, I think, for us at Scribe. In a way, it actually started by accident. It literally started with a quick call with a guy in Taiwan. Just to sort of go back actually a bit more. My background is I've worked in the bike industry for about 10 years in total. Well, for about 9.5 years now in total. Worked for Chain Reaction Cycles was where I came from. Spent a lot of my time there. Dean also came from Chain Reaction Cycles. And Mark, our brand manager, is pretty much the same actually. So we've all been in the bike industry for such a long time. Yeah, and it was just one of those ones where the company sort of changed direction at the time, and had a lot of good relationships with the guys in Taiwan, sort of developing product for own brands for Chain Reaction. So new proof bikes, Fetus bikes, prime bike wheels, etc. Yeah, and just literally got uncomfortable with the future direction of the brands that we were working on, and to the point where it was they sort of took a following mindset rather than a leading mindset, and I was just very uncomfortable with that. Yeah, and one of the guys in Taiwan got in touch with me. One of the guys I sort of had a long relationship with, and he just said, if you ever want to do your own brand, we'll completely support you. We'll give you good terms, get you out of the blocks. And I was like, no way, man! I was like, that is so cool. Thank you very much. I was humbled more than anything else, and that was it. The catalyst was planted. Yeah, couldn't stop thinking about it. So I started to just strip everything back and just, if I had my own range, what would it look like? What would it be? What should it look like? Why do people have, pulse systems, not ratchet drive? Why do people have 2 discs? Why not 1 disc? And so on. Yeah, and pretty much since then, I've went out to Taiwan lots of times to find partners that we can develop product with. So I think we're kind of quite unique in that way, where we have this massive pool of people, over history with my background. You kind of learn the good people to work with, the bad people, the people to really stay away from. And then you have this kind of small pool of people where they are wanting to go to the edge a bit more than most other brands or suppliers. And that's who we actively try and find. So we try and find those people who want to work on that edge. So we kind of bring our skill set, find those people, partner with them, and then, develop product that doesn't exist. So that's kind of our core philosophy. Yeah, so that's kind of me and sort of how the brand started. We started trading in May 18 months ago, so we're actually still a very new brand. We haven't been going long in terms of actually on a brand scale. So yeah, we've got sort of unique product, and we're pushing hard for space. And we do it because we love it. We're all riders here. We've all sort of biked up most of our lives. Yeah, so I'll stop talking now. I'll let Dean say something. 45 minutes.
All right, so the hour is up, guys, and
sorry.
So Dave, it's your turn.
Don't know how to follow that. Yeah, Dean McDowell. Again, as Alan said, I'd worked with Alan in Chain Reaction for a long time. I'd left Chain Reaction's same sort of reason for Alan. Skipped around a few different industries, and then when the opportunity came, I knew Alan was developing this for a long time, and it sort of, I guess, give me a call about it, and we've been chatting and various things. And then when I got the opportunity, he said, "Look, do you want to come on full time?" I said, "Yeah." Jumped at the chance to get back into the cycle industry, and it's been brilliant ever since.
Yeah, I think that's the dream for a lot of people. Like getting approached and be like, "Hey, I can create something." That for me would be like huge. And I think that's definitely a cool opportunity that obviously you guys took advantage of. That I think is very interesting, and especially was there something specifically that made you want to go wheels, or was that just the manufacturer that reached out? That's what they specialized in, or how did that kind of come to be?
Yeah, it was probably the least amount of risk, I think, because our skill sets are we can ultimately develop and design anything, from bikes, aero, helmets, clothing, whatever. Those relationships in sort of all over the world really, but most of them are in Taiwan. So we can do anything. So I think that from a brand perspective, we obviously want more on the canvas. So it's not just wheels. Right. We are developing other things we can't necessarily talk about just yet. But yeah, we're moving into other territories, and we're using all of that skill and infrastructure to go into there. So wheels was it was one of those ones where it was the least amount of risk because it's an upgrade product. Because everybody wants to, but not everybody, but people do upgrade at sort of moments in time. And it was just the R&D cost is a lot less. You buy tools for carbon fiber wheel sets, for example. It's a lot less than buying them for frames and then buying them. So your R&D cost, I suppose your R&D cost is still quite high no matter what you look at. But bikes is a lot higher. Bikes would be the natural thing for a lot of people. They think, that's sort of the territory to go into. Where for us, it was kind of about building a business, becoming known for something, so establishing that, and then using that as the platform to move into other things. With frames and bikes, I mean, just so much can go wrong. I've been there before where you design a bike, a frame, it's alloy or carbon fiber, and you go through all the phases of the R&D testing, the ISO testing, etc. And then the very last revision of it, you find out that the bottle cage bolt holes are the wrong distance apart. But you're 18 months into the project. Right. Yeah. There's so many things go wrong. Something. It's always the silly things as well catch you up. It's Wheels was kind of like the first introduction to get us into the market, become known for something, and then from there we obviously want to use that sort of customer service or skills to move into other things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a smart way to go. It's something that I was honestly genuinely curious about. Like I have an industrial design background, and so I know like manufacturing. And I know that mold costs and everything else going with the frame set, and I can't imagine, like how daunting that has to be for somebody wanting to start a brand. But the wheels, again, totally makes sense. What was something that initially when you came to market, obviously you guys are still very new, so obviously it wasn't that long ago. What was something that really you wanted to hit? Was there some kind of goal that you had in mind when you started that you were like, this is our it factor?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have a term for it. We do call it pound for pound is kind of our core philosophy. So the whole philosophy of the brand is pound for pound. You shouldn't be able to buy better products for the level of technology you get with the wheels, for the weights, for the specification. And that's kind of where we, I think there was kind of a gap there for it. We were sort of speaking about this prior to the video, but there is a sort of there's a canvas of products, and where you position yourself is pretty much it's kind of the finish point, because wherever you commit yourself to, you have to commit for that lifetime of the product. So what we wanted to do was pretty much for the money. You can't buy better wheels for the weight, for the specification. And there seemed to be a bit of a gap there for that. Because if you keep in mind my background also, I've been going to Taiwan for such a long time now. And you're going and seeing, some of the best brands in the world, getting made in the same factories. So there is a pool of factories that people go to have product design developed and so on. So straight away, I think the gap, was identified quite quickly, and it was really just about building a race to meet that, and obviously bringing in all of our skill sets or riding backgrounds. Because even you were saying about the gravels, that wide plus the 25 mil internal.
Yeah,
that is a trend that's kind of ongoing at the moment, where everybody's kind of going wider to get better volume, better comfort tires, etc. So we're kind of bolting off a lot of our experience into that range, and then developing it over the period of time. Hope that answers.
So apparently the jackets you guys need to throw on the website. So
yeah. You know what though? It is mad because we spent so much time. We're self-professed nibblers, is what we call it, because we always do small things. But see, even trying to get the logos on the jacket and the terms and the words and stuff. Honestly, it was like days. In the turn emails, get the jackets. We actually cut off.
We printed out logos, and stuck them onto jackets to see where's the best place, what size.
We're so sad.
Seriously.
That's awesome.
If that's just the jackets, you can imagine what it's like when we're, doing the wheels and designing the wheels and going through the hubs.
Our suppliers actually think we're bonkers, because on our disc range, our hub system's on the 5th version, and to get from V4 to V5 was to save 20 grams on the hubs. I remember having the call with the guys in Taiwan. I was like, I told them what I wanted them to do, and they were like, "But Alan, it's only 20 grams." And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like you have all of these weights, 20 grams is going to push someone into 1,300 gram territory. I was like, it's not 20 grams, it's 1,398 grams. It's like, that's what it is. It's not 20 grams.
That's awesome.
So we are nibblers.
So you guys are okay. So you're big into the CAD design, which is not what computer aided, it's the cardboard aided. That's you guys big into that, cardboard aided design.
No, cardboard is SolidWorks is the one we prefer. 3D modeling and stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I trust me. I remember back at in college, Post-it note stuff, just trying to get the sizing right for some product that I'm trying to I just need to see it, I can Photoshop it, but no, I got to see it physically in that size on there. So I 100% get that. I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So for everybody who's in the chat, thank you. The product that I'm looking at that we've already mentioned in this is their Gravel Wide Plus Plus. I am writing the 700C size, but you guys do offer a 650B version, and the rim dimensions are identical, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So those are that's why I initially reached out. Was I saw the specs, I was like, this is not real. This is I was super excited about it, and I'm glad you guys wanted to work together. So those are 700C wheels, 315 grams or 325. Okay.
16. Yeah.
Okay. And they're 25 internal and hookless. The hub is insane. I'm trying to get a way to capture it on camera that sounds as nuts as it does in person. It's just really hard because off the bike it's very different than on the bike with load and the cassette and everything. So I'm working on that for the review, but it is crazy. And my favorite thing was I was riding on the river trail, breaking everything in. I just set up the tires, and I usually have a bell on my handlebar, and I forgot to put it on because I had to swap the bar out or something like that, and I didn't have it. And so I was riding behind somebody, and all I did was I just coasted and then pedaled backwards really quick. And the guy was oh, and then turned around. I was like, hey man, coming by. It was great. So that's a added function. They can use that as a bell. But no, I've been super, super excited. So this is the first time with me going hookless. And I know there's a bunch of different features, but I'd love you guys to kind of give your thought process on the benefits, why you went hookless for this wheel set. I'm assuming not all of your wheels are hookless, obviously, because of certain pressures you want to go with. So if you can give a little bit of background on that and the benefits to going hookless over hooked for tubeless, I think the viewers would love to hear about that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the reason for having the gravel hookless was predominantly to have a beefier sidewall, because obviously whenever you put a hook on it, so it is a gravel wheel, so you are hopping on road, off road, and I think gravel's actually it's moved well from what we see here in the UK and in Ireland, is it's actually becoming almost more of a cross country type sort of wheel set where people do ride them quite aggressively. It's not just a road bike that you sort of take on the old trail. I mean, people are really testing gravel wheels to their maximum limit. So yeah, a few reasons. One is it means that you can have a beefier sidewall, and the second one is it's a low pressure tire, so you don't actually need the hooks to keep the bead on. You've got the security and just running the lower pressure, are sort of the main points. And then obviously with the wide profile, you've got a much wide rim profile. You've got a much better tire profile because you've got bigger distance, bigger volume, etc. So you have a few reasons as to why, but those are sort of the main ones.
Okay. And so from what I've heard, the Hookless does have what's the max limit for PSI is what, 72, 75 PSI?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 72, I think, from memory.
Yeah, so that's something that I don't think I've run. Like I ran them today to go get some shots for a video I'm working on, and I took them out and I had them at like 60, and I was like, I would never even ride them at 60.
Yeah,
and, I have some 43s Pan Racer tires I'm working on right now, and it's crazy how I kind of did a video on wider rims, and I did a live stream setup of how it really does benefit, because your whole tire pressure thought process is completely different once you go wider internal. And and then also for me, like I'm really into cars and have that kind of background. And so, that was a big thing with the car or drift scene, was you stretch your tire out because you get a better contact patch. Yeah. And it's the same kind of thing with cycling. And so now it's just kind of funny how that trend is kind of delayed. But now it's like, that's all I'm looking for, is like, I look for what the internal width is, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to run an X size tire on this wheel. I don't want something supportive, because, thankfully gone are the days of me running 23s on my road bike, and I can enjoy a ride and not, have my hands go numb and my back hurt, So I'm super into it, and I think that's really where that wheel set really, was the reason why I hit you guys up, because it was like the price point for everyone was right under. It was $999. It was 1,300, basically almost flat grams. It was 25 internal, and the hub with the engagement that it had, I was like, it hits every mark that I was looking for, and the weight was like way below what I thought was, because to be honest, like in that kind of weight category, you're typically spending minimum double. Yeah, and even from people who ask me like, oh, especially with disc, I think the real thing for me is so many people are more open to, with disc, like going non-branded wheels. Let's call them unbranded wheels. Because I've had rim brake, direct from factory wheels that I've melted before. So I think with this, it's really just like, look at the tech. This is your one contact point with the road. If these fail, like, that's a bad time, and I think to have that weight, that tech, and that price point really is unique. And that's, again, why I reached out in general. So I think it's really awesome that you're bringing that kind of tech. And then obviously all of that obviously trickles down, downwards. So for you guys, what's the big differentiating factor as far as manufacturing going from carbon to alloy that you really notice? Obviously weight differences there, but is there any pro or con for any rider that's trying to decide what might be best for them?
I mean, I was just going to say, it's a tough one, because we've spent as much time on our alloy wheels, which obviously are cheaper than we have in the carbon. And, for 90% of our alloy wheels, you're getting the same technology. You're getting a ratchet drive system. You're getting a hub that is on our, higher spec, 870 pounds, $1,000 carbon wheels is the same as in that's, the alloy wheels. So I know we're very, like, as Alan keeps saying, we are cyclists. We're riding these wheels every day. We want the best wheels that we can have, that we can use. So, it was very, you want to give whoever's buying these wheels, you want to give them the best technology at the best price possible.
Yeah, I think the big thing is sort of general people are asking about the difference between alloy and carbon fiber is the profiles you can get with carbon fiber are much much greater because you're cutting a mold. You're not just pushing an extrusion.
Right.
So it means that aerodynamically, you can create more creative shapes with carbon fiber. So
Right.
obviously you have the weight saving, but primarily you want a sort of profile that complies as much to aerodynamic principles and philosophies. So there's more advantages than just the weight. Obviously, rotational weight, ability to accelerate is where you get, the lighter you can have the wheel set, the better. But the aerodynamics is the big thing for carbon fiber. You don't get that with alloy because there's a point where you can have, say, it's like a 35 millimeter deep alloy wheel set, and what you sacrifice then is responsiveness because the weight is really high. You might go into the 1600 plus territory, and once you get there, yes, the wheel set might be aerodynamic, but whenever you're on a hill and you're having to drag that extra weight up, or you're wanting to sprint quickly or jump into the saddle, that weight is slowing you down. So that's where carbon fiber phases in at that point, and then from there you can still keep the weight super low, but still have very, very aero wheel sets the deeper you go, and obviously with the shapes and stuff.
And you guys, do you have any, I might have missed this part. So do you guys have any weight maximums for either like material? Weight?
Yeah. So our carbon fiber weights, usually it's about, depending on the model and the lacing and the spoke amount, it's usually about 100 kgs. We do have sort of it's a conservative weight. You can actually ride them higher than that. It's the spoke holes, for example, are tested at 300 kgf.
Oh, wow.
We have to import from Thailand every time. We do test these here. We've actually got a whole load of videos we should put up online at some point. And
for sure.
And show all of this. But so if you think a Sapum C X-ray breaks at 280 kgf, so the spoke hole, the spoke will actually break before the carbon fiber breaks, even though it's super lightweight. So I think it's we do overtest everything. But we do put that on there because we put the weights on there for one reason only, actually. And it's because we're such a new brand. We don't want to go too far into territory that's not proven. So you can't say all about it. I think a lot of brands do say that, where they say our weight limit is whatever, it's 130 kilograms or whatever. Yeah. For us, you're developing lots of products. And that life cycle, you have to prove it first before you can start to make statements. So we've kind of got it at a conservative level, but you can ride them more than pretty much what we say on the website.
Like these wheels, these wheels are tested over here. If you've ever been over to Ireland, the roads are pretty shocking at times. They can, you're riding in rain most of the time. You're riding in mud. There's cows in front of you.
It's just gravel all the time. Everybody knows
whether you want it or not, it's gravel. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
You're doing a bit of, mountain biking on your road bike with a 50 mil deep section carbon rim. So these are tested to the maximum.
Yeah, I think that's something that I tell people, like, if you're on the heavier side for riders, I tell them, like, look, if you're getting a quality wheel, the real only difference that I've seen, because I've been in all facets of the market, sales floor, marketing department, design, they're just going to require more maintenance. I tell them it's like having a track car, or a car that you drive hard. You can have a Toyota Camry, or you can have a Toyota Camry that you rev to the moon, and you drive it at 10 tenths all the time. Like, it's just going to need more maintenance. It's going to work. You're just going to need to true them up, or anything like that. So I think that especially for for the weight you guys have for some of the wheel sets, I was even surprised that I could ride the wheels that I have from you guys, because I'm not the most svelte guy, and I was like, well, I if my conversion's correct, I think I'm 80 kilograms, something like that, or 80 or 85, 9, I don't know, something like that. And usually that weight category, I'd have to be at least 15 pounds or 20 or 10 kg lighter than I am for most brands. So that was like what's really shocking, because like, oh, these look cool, and I was researching you guys. I'm like, there's no way I can ride these, and I was just keep scrolling. I was like, oh, all right, cool. I actually gain a few pounds to be okay. Like, recommended weight. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think as well, it's like you sort of touched on it a few times there, but I think like high grade spokes is where to spend money. It's like, I think a lot of brands sort of make this mistake where you just want to sort of keep the cost down as much as possible, and the worst thing you can do is put lesser spokes on. We do pay a lot more money for the SAPM CX rays, or else the
Sure.
G-Lights. Most of our range is the CX rays.
Yeah.
Money well spent. We very, very, very rarely have any issues. So you kind of go through all that effort. To us anyway, you go through all the effort of developing something that's lightweight, high performance, responsive. And if once you start swapping the spokes out with a sort of lesser one, you just lose all of that. You kind of take that sort of small step backwards. So it's money well spent.
Yeah, if anybody who's watching this and doesn't know, like, spoke wise, like, for numbers sake, like at a shop level, I want to say like your DT champions, which are like the base like spoke you're gonna get, are going to be like $1.50, maybe $2 a piece, and your CX rays are going to be like $8 to $9 like per spoke. So like that's for anyone who's wondering, like, spoke level, like you're literally like opposite ends of the spectrum. And trust me, I've built wheels, and if you look at anyone who's a super weight weenie, just go on wheelbuilder.com and build a set of fictitious wheels, and then just change the spoke weights, and anything in the 24 to 28, like you can literally vary the whole wheel set weight by 150 grams or more, depending on spoke count. And so, but you have to remember, I tell everybody who's like built a wheel set, I'm like, yeah, but that's difference of like, let's call it $8 a spoke times, 48 spokes at minimum. That can add a lot of money. So again, the difference of seeing that again at the price point and everything, it all adds in.
I don't know how they actually get them that strong. I still look at them sometimes, just think, how are you actually that strong?
Right.
How 280 kgf? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, and I was very transparent with my video, because unfortunately I did have a crash, and it was like, I think my second or third ride on the wheels, like after setting them up and getting some beauty shots, and they're still like, the front wheel's dead nuts true, and the rear is only like slightly out. And I was just like, this is insane, because I hit hard. The rest of my bike took most of the wheel, but I knew the wheel hit the ground because of how whatever, but like super solid. Like I've done less to, let's just say, another name brand wheel, and had it where it hit so hard that it rubbed the frame going home, where I had to like drop air pressure to make it. So like I was shocked. Obviously I didn't realize it the day after, but like when I did my video on swapping the bars out, because I cracked my carbon bars. Like that's how hard the front end hit the ground, and the wheels were still like in great shape. And I think that was something I was initially stunned at, and I wanted to do the video that I did live. And I mentioned, I was like, oh my God, like I would totally ride these. These are not within like the realm of me like wanting to go to a shop. I just can't true wheels for the life of me. So I would if I needed to. But yeah, it was really crazy, because again, I've ridden high-end wheels, similar price, and like I said, were more out of true for less of an impact in my experience.
Cool.
But yeah, it's definitely something that was shocking. So I think right now, let's go over, I know obviously if everyone's watching this live, this is obviously Thanksgiving week. Black Friday, a pseudo national holiday is happening. And you guys are running your Black Friday deal. So if you want to talk about that, I'll kind of mention it here.
Yeah, cool. So we very rarely do anything whenever it comes to sort of generalistic marketing campaigns. We kind of talked a lot about this actually, because there's a lot of psychology behind sort of campaigns and sort of like discounts and all of that stuff. So we always need to be careful, because we still are a very new brand. So we need to be careful of the precedents we set going forward. So it's last minute we pretty much just decided to give away a free set of Pro 1 tires, Schwalbe Evos. So pretty much from now up until midnight on Black Friday 27th, GMT time in UK. If you buy any of our carbon road wheel sets, we'll fit tubeless tires. It doesn't matter which size they are, 25s or 28s. And we, like you see on the website, we ship globally. We've got a few versions of the website. So it's a good deal. I mean, the way to look at it, I think, is that our wheel sets are excellent for the money. So it's something that's sort of just an added sort of one-off, free tires.
Yeah, and those tires are
it does what it says, as we say in Ireland. You get free tires.
Yeah, and those are, anybody is like interested in road, like those tires are super fast. And good on you guys for fitting them, because they are a pain in the ass. So
we do that for any, regardless if it's Black Friday or not. If you buy it any time of year and you buy tires, we fit them.
Yeah, we actually refuse to fit them with levers as well. You have to fit them with hands. It's like it's a first test.
yeah, for sure.
There's a technique to it.
Right. So in your experience, is Hookless easier to fit tires because you are increasing obviously the sidewall profile?
Yeah.
As far as like mounting it, because I thought they were. I just didn't know if that was just me or not.
Yeah. No, I think it's I'd say Hookless are probably slightly easier to fit. I mean, our Hookless wheels are, because there's a wider profile, so it is not bad. I think that whenever people fit tubeless tires, I think there's a couple of things you should always keep in mind. Is you always want to finish at the valve hole. I think generally a lot of people finish to sort of all places, but if you finish at the valve hole, the valve is right in the center of the well. So if you finish anywhere else than that, the bead is sort of in the way. And the second thing is, if you have tubeless wheel set, I'll just get one here. Sorry, just one beside me.
We're doing this live, people. This is actually live.
Taped. So if you ever find it hard to fit a tubeless tire, what generally happens is you want the center of the well to be as small as possible, so the smallest diameter possible. And whenever you fit tubeless tape, the manufacturers haven't put the tape on tight enough. Obviously, that diameter is bigger, and you want the bead to be right into the middle whenever you're trying to get that last bit on. So a technique is to just get a bit of cloth and just make sure you push really, really firmly on the tubeless tape to make sure it's right inside the center of the well. So you can hear there's some bubbles in that one, and just push that down very, very firmly. And once you do that, the beads will sit right in the center, finish at the valve hole. And generally you can get most tires on with that technique with your hands without levers.
Yeah.
Just quick tips there, very quick tips.
There you go. So that's great. Yeah. I remember when tubeless was like brand new, the technique I did was I would just throw a tube in and pump it to max, and then that would just kind of set the tape in, and kind of fill in all the crevices. There are other tapes that I use now that are a lot better than some brands that make still tape the same. But I think that's definitely something where it's air gaps are your nightmare. I've seen people where they're trying to mount stuff and their sealant milking out of the valve or the spoke holes, stuff like that. And just like, it's all in the prep.
It's a tough one because the tubeless tape as well. I mean, the stuff we use is 3M with double figures of tubeless tape. This stuff here, it's very, very tough. So if you even if you put pressure inside this, I mean, this rim can withstand 140 psi, no problem. But that tape is super, super tough. So trying to stretch that's quite difficult. So if you imagine whenever you put a wrap on this, to try and get that right into the center of the wheel with glue on the underside can be quite tough. So you just want to push that really firm and get that right in there. And obviously it all helps whenever you're fitting tubeless tires because they are tight because they're boxy beads and stuff.
Right. Cool. Yeah, so let me, obviously, I appreciate everybody who's joined in the chat. We're going to open this up to questions and comments. I'm going to kind of scroll back here and see if there's anything I missed along the way. But everybody in the chat, please, let us know where you're watching from. What time is it there, by the way?
It's 1:30.
All right. Well, bars don't close for 30 minutes, and neither does the live stream. So here we go, guys. I appreciate everybody who's joining, and thank you guys for doing that. Also, have to give kudos, the most legit looking set that we've had on the stream so far. So it looks great. For everybody in the chat, they hand put down those bricks for the last 3 or 4 days and built this room just for today. So we got. We
turn the camera around. It's banned.
Don't do that. No, it's like me. Again, my bed is right here. This looks like a studio, but it's not. Mikey right here had a great comment I kind of highlighted earlier. He wanted to hear more about the site. He's not that he regrets spending his money on Envies, but he regrets spending his money on Envies. So I think that was a great comment. And so I think that there's a lot of interest. I think that, again, this is why I wanted to do this, is to get you guys out there. Again, they're very new to me. I didn't know, you guys seemed more like that you've been around longer than I thought. I had no idea, to be brutally honest, that it was only 18 months, it was super cool. So let's see here if there's anything else. Here we go. You guys will appreciate this. From Peter, darn, I love my Rovals CLX 32. Spent way too much looking hard for Scribe for my gravel bike. So Peter, that review is going to be coming to the channel soon. But again, if it isn't currently in there, because sometimes with streaming the description's a little delayed, their Instagram and website, if you're watching this later, will be in there. So check out all their wheels. They do offer multiple widths for their gravel wheels, depending on the tire size you guys are running, and again, offered multiple sizes for the 700 or 650B in them. And then here we go from Todd. Anti-bite is one of those things or ideas that make you wonder why no one thought of that before. I have had 1 or 2 cassettes in my lifetime stuck on a Freehub body that I may have had to take a hammer to. So it happens. And I do like that you guys use the 3M tape, because that's been like it's been always really good stuff.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, it's you can get tape that's very easy to install. The problem is over time you actually start to create the bulb effect inside the spoke hole, and the tape can fail, in future. So a lot of people use tape that's easier to install, but it causes problems further down the line. Well, 3M stuff is awesome.
So we got a question from Ryan. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I was just saying, I see Peter is riding our race Ds. They are so popular at the minute.
Good man, Peter.
Brilliant.
So give me the quick rundown on those specs for those wheels, just for anybody watching.
Yeah, so high performance, responsive alloy wheel set, disc. Lightweight, sub 1,500 grams, SAPM CX race spokes, 2-to-1 rear hubs. All of our hubs, well, most of them come with the ratchet drive system, so very, very responsive. So it's 2-to-1 on the rear, 2 cross, 1 cross, so torsionally responsive. So pretty much anybody that rides them, they're a lightweight race alloy disc wheel set. So they're kind of in that territory of, if you're not sure if carbon is the right way to go and you want a fast wheel set, these ones here are very, very, very good for the money. Whenever we actually got them and tested them, we were actually worried that people wouldn't buy the carbon fiber.
That's crazy weight for alloy and for 540. That's insane.
They were just so good. They were just so fast, fast and responsive. Obviously, you don't have the aero gains, but just a bomb-proof, very responsive alloy wheel set. We can't keep them in stock. We haven't had them in stock for days now. We just got a batch and we sold them already. But they're good value for money, not expensive. And for the technology, it kind of defaults back to that pound for pound, for an alloy disc wheel set with the SAPM CX race spokes, ratchet drive hub system, single disc, lightweight alloy, nothing, really, there aren't many brands that come close to us. Just pretty bomb proof.
And then for everybody who's stateside, shipping wise, is it free shipping for the price that's quoted, or is it over a certain price, or how do you guys do it?
Free shipping globally. So we offer, we're actually working with another logistics provider, because we do sell quite a lot of wheels to the States actually. UK and Ireland sort of a key market, but we do sell a lot to the States. So free shipping is included in the price. The only thing to be aware of is, and we're working with DHL on this, is there are duty charges going into America outside of Europe currently. Right. We don't know what the duty charges are at the moment, because every country is different. And then even within countries, there could be regions that are different within that country based on their local customs agencies and stuff. Why it's difficult to kind of put it on there. So free shipping, but the duty charge is on average it's about 11%, in addition to the price of the product. So it's not that bad. We pay a lot more in the UK. We pay 20%. It's quite good.
And then we got a question from Ryan.
Interesting, Ram. There's one actually at the end of the desk there. Yeah, because we've actually been developing a mountain bike range actually, which is
hey, there you go, Ryan. You've heard it here first. We got an exclusive. All right,
that's ratchet drives there with the micro spline, Shimano's micro spline. And it's called the brand name Silt, SILT, MTB. So we'll have kind of the Silt and M to the power of MTB is kind of the position of it. So modern profiles. This is the alloy wheel set, ratchet drive hub system, micro spline. 30 mil internal, just sort of nice, clean graphics. D-light spokes, so much more sort of stronger than the sort of the CX rays. More of them. Brass nipples, so they don't fatigue over time. And they're priced pretty competitively. Can't actually remember what it is in USD, but in the UK they're sort of like £370. I'm not sure what that is. So again, it's the same sort of philosophy as Scribe, where pound for pound, they're a solid wheel set that was tested within an inch of their lives.
And again, getting the full ratchet drive system with a mountain bike wheel as well. Probably the only real difference is one for J-bend. Obviously, a lot easier to replace a spoke if you do get stuck. But they're an absolutely great wheel. We will be starting to push these an awful lot more very, very soon.
Yeah, we've actually got a ton of them ordered actually. We couldn't release them actually because it would kill us. We've just been so busy.
Sure.
We kind of had to always just push it into the future. We actually have carbon ones also, which are floating about here, and it's sort of the same philosophy in the carbon fiber thing earlier, where beefier sidewalls, they can take more abuse. The laminate's slightly different for that. You've got super specification for the money. So yes, we do have a mountain bike range.
Yep.
Okay. So but that is going to be a separate entity essentially.
Different brand, yeah. Different brand name. So it is obviously under our umbrella, and it's our team to do it. We're actually bringing in another guy at the end of November who will specialize in developing that even further. Because we want it to be a wheel brand that goes into more componentry as well. And like I used to work for a really good mountain bike brand called Nuke Proof.
Oh yeah, there's still around. Yeah,
I do all their wheels and components for Nuke Proof back in the day in chain reaction days. So we're targeting that sort of enduro market. So check it out. So Silt is an SILT for dirt, and then mtb.com is the website.
Cool.
Yeah, good question.
I think that's gonna be that was something that I was if it wasn't asked, that was what I was going to looking for. I'm like, do you guys have anything wider coming out? Because I have like a bike I'm building right now on the channel, and it's my homage to how like everybody says like a gravel bike is essentially a 90s mountain bike. And so I have a Poseidon Redwood, and it comes drop bar, but it clears I found out clears a 2.6 like 650B tire, and it comes with 2.35s like stock. And so I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm just going to put a flat bar on there, and it's rigid, obviously. And I was just like, and I have some 650B wheels, but they're now on the narrower side, even though they were like the business back in the, like 2 years ago when I bought them. And I was like, man, I really want something wider, because it's narrowing the tire. So like this 2.6 is really probably more like a 2.45, 2.5. But yeah, no, it's rad. It's just like, for me, non-mountain biker, I built a set of wheels. It had to be 2 or 3 years ago, and it was right when like wide was becoming a thing. And I built a set of wheels that was like 26 internal, and I was like, screw it, I want to put some like 32s on it, because I want it like super round profile, and something really stupid wide. And everyone was like, these are not going to work. And granted, it took like 3 people to put the tires on. But after you mount them once, they came off easy. But yeah, it was just like, that was the thing. And now it's like, oh no, man, like how are you riding in like a 19 internal with like a 32 millimeter on there or whatever? And so it's funny how trends have changed.
Absolutely.
But like that's the thing is now it's like there's weird overlap. That yes, a gravel bike is a 90s mountain bike, but it's like there's so much mountain trend that's crossing over. Yeah. Because I mean, even on my Cobalt Warhawk, it clears a 2.2 650. And that's a big tire. It is for me.
Actually, it's a big conversation actually, because a lot of the if you sort of look at mountain bikes, I mean, a lot of the innovations in the road industry are from mountain bike regions. Look at today, disc brakes. How long have mountain bikers been using hydraulic disc brakes for? Years. Tubeless technology. Decades old and mountain bike. It's only sort of becoming accepted. Now in the road industry. Carbon fiber. There's so many sort of innovations. So it is. It is. I do find it bizarre sometimes that the gravel's kind of in that middle ground. Where they are probably a bit more sort of innovative, where roads just taking so long just to catch up.
Yeah.
You know, but mountain bike just leads away, and even like road bikes now, like suspension's the next thing, ABS brakes. You know,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's funny because like there's this weird disconnect they had initially when gravel came out. Like right now, I'm looking for the opposite because of this bike build I'm doing. I'm looking for a flat mount, like hydro, like, you know, flat bar brake setup. But like, yes, I can piece it together from Shimano, but like no one makes like a affordable like flat mount kit because that doesn't exist. It's all like it's all post mount. I'm vain. I don't want to run the damn adapters, you know, like, cause it's a flat mount bike. And I'm not going to put XTR brakes on my $800, you know, like conversion, like I'm not, you know. And so it's really funny how so much borrowed tech is there, and how, you know, again, like you guys, like there's very few companies that are having something that really fills this void that works on both platforms, because essentially that 30 mil internal rim width on my bike, which originally granted was a drop bar bike, would be killer. And that thing was atrociously heavy when I got it, because the stock wheels are, I didn't even weigh them because they were so bad. Like, it is just so heavy. But that would be something like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. But if I had, you know, an older mountain bike, well, that's a wheel set I can now share. Boost kind of ruins that for gravel, but I think that's kind of the next thing. I think gravel and Boost are going to go, which makes me sad because I like the interchangeability. But I think that's definitely something that's going to be, you know, more of a factor going forward.
I think there's so many standards. You know, I think people that's new to cycling, road biking, disc, you know, mountain bikes. I mean, sometimes it's a minefield just trying to understand all of the standards, and, you know, even, you know, hub, center lock, 6-bolt, boost, non-boost, you know, and then obviously everything's so compatible. You have to, you buy the wrong thing 3 or 4 times, and then you're like, I get it, center lock is this. You know, so I do think sometimes manufacturers, it would be good if everybody was on one standard.
Oh yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Everybody just comply to this. And I know even the pro teams, you know, it's a nightmare for, you know, the sort of support crew and the cars and stuff, because it's just like the top of the cars is full of like 10 different types of combinations of wheels. You know, if you get flat, like the guy doesn't know which one to go for. He's like, damn it, that one. You know, it's the wrong one. It's like, damn it. You know, but I think you're right. I think wide boost and, you know, sort of is where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it's crazy. Like, I'm happy, like, the standard is where it is now, because it was I started in the real weird part where like quick release was still like real prevalent, and I unfortunately like timed myself out of the custom steel frame set I built because it was around quick release, and I'm like, I can't do very much with it now, and I'm working on another steel bike because of that. But I think that, you know, it's kind of settled at least now, and I think that's really beneficial for the consumer, because like I remember when Specialized had 135 through axle, and I was like, what the hell is this? There's 2 hubs I can make for my bike that I had, and I was like, I got to sell the frame because I can't. I'm too scared of what this is going to happen, you know. And luckily, you know, I bought the quick release version because I was like, this is going to be more standard for sure, and you know, sold that as soon as I could. But that was, you know, it's just kind of funny. So I feel like, yes, for, you know, not doing frames or anything like that, but trying to accommodate standards for wheels, especially now, it's got to be just awful.
I think everybody's just one through axle, 12 mil front and back, just leave it.
Right? Yes.
Shimano and everybody listening.
So okay, so last technical question I have. I know we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon.
Michael, sorry, we couldn't hear that there. Sorry, man. Hello, Michael. Michael has just went to the one screen where we can see and hear everybody, but we can't hear you, man. What's up? No, don't know. Michael, I'm going to assume that you were saying about axle standards. probably stiffness is probably where you're going with it. Yeah, so I think that, you know, for us, 12 millimeter through axle, you know, is sort of a good combination between strength, because obviously with you were saying quick release earlier on, whenever you have quick release, you can only get so much force on the actual bite points on the frame and fork, where with the through axle, obviously you screw it in and you can get that super tight. And whenever you're developing your frames and stuff, that stiffness can be translated directly from the frame to the wheel set, so you don't lose any power whatsoever. So yeah, sorry, some comments coming in. No, Mike, I think you might be lost slightly, man. Oh, you're coming back. You're back.
All right. Well, okay, cool. Well, apparently
he's back.
I was so apparently my computer just decided to die. It's plugged into the wall. I don't know what's happened. We're on the phone now. But yeah.
Mike, I'm not sure if I answered your question or not, but it's, I hope I did. We answered a question. We made up.
I appreciate you guys for keeping on the stream, keeping it going. That was great. So yeah, where did we leave off? Sorry about that.
It's all right. No, you were just saying about axles. I think you were touching on axles. We made some question up and just answered it. So.
So no, that was a beautiful thing. You guys saved it. That was awesome. So yeah, again, we're this is all live, people. This is not scripted. For whatever reason, my MacBook is now restarting on its own. Didn't tell us anything, but here we are. So I think the last thing I was going to ask was about Freehub Bodies. So obviously, with the new generation of ever increasing gears, you guys being 18 months old, with I think that was roughly when like microspline came out, and XDR was been I assume since your guys' like inception. So what's been the hardest challenge as far as adapting that to really an existing hub set, so you're not re-engineering the wheel there? Yeah.
It's a really good question, actually, because you know brands do move forwards quite quickly. So that is the XDR Freehub body that we have on our road system at the minute. So it's just an XDR, which is slightly longer than the mountain bike XD, but if you use a spacer, it's still an XD driver. And then this is the new microspline from Shimano. So it's still kind of mountain bike oriented at the moment. We do believe the new 12-speed Shimano will be a version of this. So we're sort of waiting for the drawings coming through. But to answer your question, it's no problem. I mean, a lot of the manufacturers get the drawings quite quickly. So we're even trying to get the Campi 13-speed. At the moment, so they're just being a bit slow and sort of getting that out. So we do hear quite quickly about new standards and sort of innovations. So we get those through well ahead of market. So we get them ahead of deadlift, actually. So yeah, you're back.
Yeah, hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Changed. Yeah, there it is.
USB cable. Yeah, so with Freehub Bodies, we're quite responsive. You know, like I say, we're sort of looking at this Campi Nolo one at the moment. And what brands do at the minute is I think they've been quite smart with this now, actually. Like Campi, for example, you know, they're being very careful about how quickly they release their drawings for the Freehub Bodies. And they obviously want to market their wheels with their components for a period of time. And then eventually, you know, that will become available to, you know, other companies to sort of, you know, buy into it and pay royalties for it. So Freehub Bodies is no problem. We can get pretty much any standard.
Yeah, I think that was definitely with camping in general, especially with road. You know, that I remember back in the day, because obviously this is our first gravel group set, or just like other non-road group set, that I was surprised that they just even complied at all, you know, with you guys.
Yeah. No, it is tough. I mean, you can see it from their perspective as well. But yeah, it's no problem, like I said, with the Freehub Bodies. You know, they kind of always have this window where they have exclusivity for a period of time, and then it's just, you know, their strategy is to get as much of it into the market as possible. So secure a first portion market, and then just sort of get it global. Yeah, but it's no problem. You know, we can get pretty much anything.
Cool. All right, well, let's we got a few minutes left here with the chat and see if anybody has any other questions. obviously this doesn't pertain to you, but Todd, bottom market shouldn't make my brain hurt.
Yeah.
Todd, it's threaded or nothing else. That's what I believe in all day.
Yeah, absolutely. No creaks. Get rid of those creaks. Don't never get a press in bottom bracket ever, and don't let it be plastic either.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, no, I appreciate everybody sticking in. You guys, again, legends, sticking on the chat and keeping it rolling while I was gone. That was great. I was like, oh my God, where's my phone? I was like, that's fine. Luckily I had the link saved. I was like, here we go. All right. Like I usually like the camera dies. I'm like, oh, I'll just switch it to webcam. I'm like, nope, the computer decided to shut off. Awesome. All right, cool. So that was a first, but I appreciate you guys sticking around. That was awesome. I was like, either this is going to be done, or hopefully they didn't like it. It kept going. I've never had this happen, so here we are. Again, everybody who's been watching this, thank you so much for joining in. We're going to be taking your last few questions if anybody adds in one. But again, if you're looking into Scribe Wheels, there's going to be a link in the description below for their website as well as their Instagram. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other media outlets. I do have a set of their wheels that if you're following me on Instagram, you've already seen. I'm very excited about them and trying to create basically a great review for them because I've been really excited about their products in general. And you want to support the companies that support the channel because, I'm doing this in my studio apartment. I might look great. It might look like I have just like they built a brick structure, for this is not a YouTube studio. So I appreciate everybody who's joined today. Again, if you have any questions, if you're watching this later after the stream is being live, I'm on my comments every single day and will do my best to respond to you. As well as make sure, again, to follow them and check out all the cool products they're coming forward with and their new mountain bike line, which I will have to add in the description as well. I didn't even know about that, so that was new to me. But that is something that I'll be adding in if you're looking for something wider or something boost-oriented and are looking for something for that kind of bike that you currently are riding on. So any last words from you guys?
I'll just go back to one quick question that was seen there. It was about the customer service side of things.
Yes, I believe that was Todd. Todd's been active in the chat here. Let me throw that back. I think it was. Let's see here. He mentioned basically that you guys had an amazing customer service, and was that part of the brand ethos? I believe was what he mentioned.
Yeah, that's a massive part of Scribe is customer service. As I say, we have a mountain years and years of experience with it. But on top of that, we are riders. So, anybody that gets in touch with us that we are reaching out to through chat, through social, we want to get them a response immediately, as in they're just a fellow biker, and we want to get them back on their bike as quickly as possible. So, part of our ethos from day one with Scribe was to have not only the best wheel available, but the best customer service that you will find anywhere in the world.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's killer. I think especially with wheel standards being so all over the map, I think that's something that, I've been in the industry in different capacities for a while, and I'm still like, there's times when I'm like, I don't know, man, if that's going to work or not. Like there's, so I totally get it that's got to be something, especially, with any new brand, and especially with the category you guys are in, that's very important to, it is a large purchase. Mine is buying a bicycle. You got, that this is kind of the next most expensive, upgrade or component to the bike is the wheels. So I think that's crazy. And I know you guys can't speak much about this, but, I know you guys mentioned other products.
Yeah.
Minus the mountain bike line. If you can't say anything, I get it.
Yeah. Well, just I think more than wheels.
Okay.
Yeah. Think more than wheels. Partner with speed. Yeah. In the bike.
All right. Sounds good. We'll leave it there.
It's like cryptic clues here. It's like,
if you guys subscribe to the channel when the new stuff comes out, hopefully there'll be another stream about it.
Next time.
Next time, yeah. So again, I appreciate everybody in the chat. This has been a great hour, and thanks for all the info, guys. Again, please comment below, follow them, follow me, and this cycling industry journey as far as any aspect, any different company that's going on right now, especially with COVID and everything else going on, it's insane. And the fact that you guys are, it seems like you're thriving and doing well, especially this early in the game, is awesome. And I look forward to the other unspoken items that may be coming through the pipeline. So thanks everybody for watching. Again, comment below if you have any future questions. I'll do my best to answer them, and have a great evening. Or for Scribe, bars are closing. Last call for alcohol. You guys can't stay here, but you gotta go home. All right.